His most striking case studies was Suzanne Gunham, who was born in Richmond, Virginia in 1963. She insisted from a young age that in her previous life she had been Hanan Mansour, a Lebanese woman who had passed away just 10 days before Suzanne was born. At the age of 2, she shared with her parents the name of Hanan's husband and her 3 children, and later scribbled a phone number on a scrap of paper. Dr. Stevenson would discover that the number matched the Mansour's home phone number, except that the last 2 digits were reversed.
Suzanne Gunham holds the record for being able to identify relatives of her prior life. She walked into a room and identified 25 different relatives by name and their relationship.
In another case study, Dr. Stevenson traveled to India to research the claims of one of the most notorious reincarnations in the region.
There's the interesting case of Shanti Devi in India. She was born in 1926, and at the age of 4, she began telling her parents that she was the reincarnation of this other woman from another town called Mathura.
Mathura is a small village over 100 miles away from Shanti's hometown of Delhi. By the time Shanti Devi was 9 years old, she had convinced her parents of her prior existence and was put in contact with her former family. The young girl spoke directly with the man she claimed she was married to in her previous life.
Shanti Devi gives very accurate information, knows exactly where she lived in this past life, the names of people in her family, her husband specifically. She eventually met this family and her husband from a previous life, and lo and behold, these people embraced her and agreed that she is this lost relative from another life.
Eventually, Mahatma Gandhi himself got involved in this whole story. He had an investigation made, and in 1936, Gandhi himself said that he was satisfied that she was the reincarnation of this other woman.
In some reincarnation cases, like that of an English woman named Dorothy Eddy, the past life recall went much further back in history. As a young girl, after a near-death experience, she began recalling her life as a temple virgin in Egypt during the reign of Seti I in the 14th century BC. Eddy eventually moved to Abydos, Egypt, took on the name Seti, and became a respected Egyptologist and the keeper of the Temple of Seti.
It was really interesting because she was one of very few that perfected the ancient Egyptian language. She could speak it. I can translate, I can try to read, but she could speak it. And she would go to the other Egyptologists and tell them, the gardens of whatever is down here, dig here, you'll find it. And most thought she was just crazy, but they dig, and they find it. She had the information. She knew things no one else would know. There was literally no explanation of how she knew the things she knew, of how she understood the language, how she predicted the placement of ruins under the ground. I don't think anyone up till today has an explanation of knowing how she knew that. Because she wasn't right once and wrong 3 times. She was always right.